So come right up to the front edge of your chair and have your feet underneath your knees. You can have your shoes off, socks on if you want, or socks off if you like. So just want you to feel the contact between your feet and the floor. All right, so press down into your heels a little bit and feel what that's like. And then press down into the big toe knuckle, so right there, that big toe knuckle. And then press into the little toe knuckle. So we've got the heels, the heel, the big toe knuckle, the little toe knuckle. That forms your tripod. So with your feet, lift up your toes and keep those tripods on the floor. And again, just sort of press down a little bit. And as you press down, see if you can feel your leg muscles activate. And then as you feel your leg muscles activate, pull your belly in a little bit and see if you feel your posture kind of come up a little bit too, right? And then relax your toes and let them just kind of come back down to the floor. And close your eyes. So noticing the contact of your feet and the floor. Noticing the engagement of the muscles in your legs. Noticing where you're sitting on the chair. So are you on the front edge of your sitting bones? Are you on the back edge of your sitting bones? Do you feel the backs of your legs touching the chair? And then feeling your shoulders right above your hips. So we went into that nice upright posture when we pressed down. And then notice your neck and your shoulders. Are your shoulder tops up around your ears? Can you drop them down a little bit without creating more tension in your back? And then does your head feel like it's on a kind of a stiff neck this morning? Can you loosen your neck, maybe just moving your head a little from side to side or kind of swiveling it around a little bit? Just noticing if you can release some tension there. And your jaw, how is your jaw doing this morning? Are your teeth clenched? Is your tongue plastered to the roof of your mouth? Can you relax your jaw? Maybe put some space between your upper teeth and lower teeth. Maybe let your tongue drop down to the bottom of your mouth. And then shift your awareness into your breath and notice how air is moving in and out. As you inhale, can you feel the air moving in through your nostrils? As you exhale, can you feel the air moving out through your nostrils? Are you able to breathe smoothly and evenly through both sides of your nose, or is one side more open than the other? And now see if you can follow your breath as it moves in further to your body, so from your nose to the back of your throat. Down into your lungs. So can you feel your chest rising and falling with each breath? Do you feel it more on one side or the other? And now see if you can slow your breathing down. So as you inhale, take a little longer to breathe in. And a little longer to breathe out. So as you take a longer breath in, see if you can deepen it, bringing the feeling of expansion all the way down to your belly. And as you breathe out, a little bit longer on that exhalation, see if you can pull your navel in toward your spine. And with your next inhalation, see if you can lengthen from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, relax your shoulders down. So again, as you breathe in, see if you can lengthen from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, let the shoulders drop down. And with each subsequent breath, feel your spine getting taller with each breath in, and your shoulders relaxing a little more with each breath out. And notice if you're taking any of the tension from your neck and shoulders and transferring it down into your arms and hands. Sometimes we don't let go of the tension, we just move it someplace else. And if you notice that you've moved the tension someplace else, see if you can kind of chase it out. Take one more full deep breath in, and when you get to the top of the inhale, hold your breath. And then see if you can breathe in just a little bit more. And then let it go with a sigh. Go back to your natural breath. Let your eyes open. Roll your shoulders forward, up, back, and down a couple of times. Notice if there's some noise in there this morning. Shoulders can be a little cranky, a little noisy. All right, let's get the right arm. We're going to circle that arm up and around. Whoops. Circling that arm up and around. So if you've got some limitation in your shoulder this morning or something in your elbow that's preventing you from making a big movement, just make whatever movement you can do with that shoulder. So it's like you're making a big circle on the wall with your elbow. And the next time your elbow's down toward the floor, we're going to switch direction, go the other way. Up and around. Good. All right, and then let's do a figure 8. So we got a nice figure 8. Drawing on that wall with your elbow. And again, if you're a little limited in your shoulder movement this morning, just you can make a little baby 8 down here, right? You don't have to make a huge 8. All right, and then let's relax that arm. Let's go the other side. So up and around, up and around. Anybody noticing one side's more noisy than the other? I have a cranky, noisy shoulder this morning myself. Next time your elbow's down, we're going to switch direction, go the other way. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe as you're doing this. And then let's make a nice 8 here. So whatever your 8 looks like on this side, maybe it's a bigger 8, maybe it's a smaller 8, maybe it looks more like a 4. Sometimes that can happen, right? You've got some limitation on certain rotation in the shoulder. All right, and then let that go. Good, let's just kind of roll those shoulders a couple more times. All right, so we got the shoulders warmed up. Let's warm up the hips a little bit. So bring your feet a little wider than your hips. And have your heels right underneath your knees. And then we're going to keep the back nice and flat as we just kind of come forward and backward, right? So coming forward. When you lean back, I want you to notice if you can feel your belly engage when you come back, right? So you come forward, feel a little movement here. So we're just warming up those hip joints, getting some of the fluid in the hip joints going. So we're starting from the center today. We often work from the periphery in, but now we're working from the center out. So a couple more, forward and back, and forward and back. Good. How about one more, forward and back, Great, and then come to just sort of that neutral position. We're going to work a little bit with the spine. So if you bring your chin to your chest, and then drop your nose toward your navel, and then your forehead toward the floor. So you're kind of rounding through your spine, and with your hands on your thighs, you're going to push into your hands and roll yourself up. Draw your shoulder blades together, press your chest forward, keep the chin tucked in, right? And then we're going to roll down, breathing out as you roll down, breathing in as you roll up. So with your hands on your thighs, you're supporting your spine. Try not to let your shoulders come up to your ears, right? So that's the tendency too, is to bring the shoulders way up here. So we want to bring the shoulders down. Good. Excellent. Couple more. Try not to let your chin tilt way up. When you come up, you're keeping that chin kind of tucked in, right? So we don't want to shorten the back of the neck any more than it is. Most of us have a shortened back neck. Good. Just a couple more so we get the spine going here. Excellent. Okay, and then come back to sort of your neutral position. Let's keep the right hand on the thigh. We're going to take the left arm, bring it up overhead if you can, and then lean into that right side. Keep your left sitting bone on the chair, coming all the way up. We're going to bring that hand back to the thigh and go to the other side. Okay, so that's the movement. We're going to do this with some breath. So take a deep breath in as you come up, and a breath out as you lean over. Breath in as you come up, and breath out as you come over. So just kind of going from side to side, getting a little side to side movement here in the spine. If you can get your ear toward your shoulder, you can get your neck involved here too. For some people that might feel like a little wonky, like you might feel a little dizzy doing it that way. If that's the case, just keep your head upright. How about one more time on each side, you guys? Good. And one more on this side. And we're good. Excellent. Okay, give the shoulders a little bit of a roll again. All right, let's take those arms and push forward. So as you push forward, think about your shoulder blades in the back. The shoulder blades sit right here. So when I push my arm forward, it's like my shoulder blade is coming forward as well. So there's a rounding in that upper back. So we're pushing forward, and then we're going to pull back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're pushing forward. And now as we inhale, pull back, and exhale, push forward. So push as hard as feels comfortable for you. Well, maybe a little uncomfortable. No pain. So if you have any pain, you don't want to go to that place. But if it's a little uncomfortable because you don't do this with your shoulders, then that's okay. We're getting some movement there. Same thing when you come back. When you come back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, almost as if you could get your elbows to touch back there, right? If you were super double jointed in your shoulders, and you could get your elbows to touch back there. Okay. How about one more time, forward and back? Excellent. And then come back to sort of that neutral position. Again, just rolling the shoulders up, back, and down a little bit. All right, we're going to move to some elbow work. So take your right arm out to the side, and we're just going to bend and tap. So we're getting a little bit of movement here in the elbow. All right, so the elbow is sort of a hinge joint, has a little more motion than just a hinge, but for all intents and purposes, we'll call it a hinge joint. Okay, feeling pretty good, right? Easy? Easy peasy. All right, we're going to bring this hand back down to the lap, do the other side. Okay, good. So, is it different on this side? Yeah, the other side, one side and the other can feel different, right? Okay, how about one more time? Excellent, and bring that down. Okay, so now take both arms out, and we're going to take the right hand to the shoulder, right? And the left arm is extended. And we're just going to be switching back and forth. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't tell you to check and see if you had space there, right? So keep your upper arms lifted, right? So you don't want them way down here unless you've got a shoulder issue that's making it really difficult for you to do that. So we're trying to keep the upper arms lifted. And we're going back and forth. Everybody's doing great here. Good. Couple more. Excellent. All right. And then come back down. Whew. Let's roll the shoulders again. So we're already getting a little bit of workout in the joints and in the muscles here. Take your right arm out to the side like you're saying stop. So we've got that arm extended, fingers are lifted toward the ceiling and you're pressing out through the heel of your hand. And then we're going to do that little swan neck. So sit up nice and tall. Try not to lean to one side. So we're going to bend the elbow, bend the wrist. See if you can touch the back of the wrist to the shoulder, right? And then out. So that's the whole movement. It's like a little swan neck. So it's just this graceful little move in and out. It's like a little dance move for your arm. This is good for the muscles in your arm. It's good for the nerves in your arm. If you have some issues with a nerve in your wrist or your hand, nerves in your wrist or hand, this can be very helpful. So just a couple more times. Good. Okay, next time you're out there, hold, press out through that hand, and then we're going to bring the arm all the way up overhead. Most of you know where we're going with this, right? So bend the elbow. See if you can bring the palm of your hand to your face with your thumb facing forward, right? And then up and around. If you have glasses on, you might just be aware you don't poke your glasses. Okay, so this is just giving us an indication of what our range of movement is here throughout the whole arm, right? So can you get your hand like right on your face? Like you, remember the old telephones, right? You do this? Yeah, so can you do that? Up and around. One more time. Up and around. Answering that phone. All right, release that. Let's take that left arm out to the side. Same thing. So it's like you're pushing something away. And then we're going to do that little swan neck. So bending the elbow and the wrist, like you could bring your wrist to touch your shoulder, right? So elbow comes down. Right. So when you bend the elbow, it's down toward your waist. Good. Keep breathing. Notice if the other hand is getting tense watching this one, right? It's like, wait a minute, are you doing that right? I'm not sure. Couple more. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. I got to mention breathing every now and then, guys. That's the only way I can call this a yoga class. Next time you press out, we're going to hold there. Good. And then we're going to bring that arm all the way up. If you can, bend the elbow. Bring the palm to the side of your face with your thumb facing forward. Up and around. And down. We'll do this a few times. So this is warming up the joints, the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist. It's warming up a little bit of the fingers and the hand as well. And we're getting, like I said before, a little bit of work for the muscles and the tissue there, the nerves. So we got everything, right? Good. And down. Excellent. So kind of shake that out. So we've got that going. So now we're going to take the right hand. We're going to make a little circle with the thumb and the first finger, right? So like the A-OK sign. We're going to bring that out to the side. We're going to come up and around, bend your elbow, and see if you can bring your little circle to your eye. So it's like a little spyglass there, right? So it's the phone on the cheek, right? So your thumb is facing forward, but you've got this little circle, so you're making this. It should be difficult. If you're doing this, too easy. Too easy. We want to flip that hand around so the palm is facing your face, right? I know, right? It's really challenging. And then come up and around. Let's try the other side. Maybe the other side you'll have more luck. So thumb and first finger together, and then out to the side, up overhead, bend the elbow, and make a little spyglass. And you might notice one side you can do a little easier than the other, right? So again, if you're doing that and it's super easy, we want to do that. Yeah, so it's like you could stick your little finger in your ear. Could you do that? No, not really. Okay, and then come up and around. Let's try that other side again. So right hand, right? Thumb and first finger out, up, bend, spyglass. How are we doing? Yeah. Hey, we're just doing the best we can, right? Let's try that left side. Up and around. Yeah. Good. I'm spying you all. That looks good. Yeah, you all look good with that. Let's try both at the same time because that's really challenging. Up and around. Put your eyeglasses on. Anybody ever do this as a kid? Remember doing this as a kid? Yeah. How come we could do all this stuff as kids? We can't do this stuff now. Got my mic. Because we're older, right? We have less water in there, right? When we're little, we're mostly water. You know, by the time we hit middle age, the sea's drying up. So, okay. So let's just kind of roll those shoulders a little bit. We're going to give that upper body a little bit of a break. I think this is interfering with my mic here, so excuse me for a second. So look down at those feet. Okay, what's going on down there? How are they looking? Are they shod or unshod? Right? So hopefully they're unshod. And if you have your socks on, that's okay, but if you want to take your socks off, this would be a good time to do that. So keeping the tripods of your feet on the floor, so again, heel, big toe, and little toe knuckles. You're going to lift all your toes up. Spread them out nice and wide. And then see if you can place them down in that widened position, right? So get them as wide as they can be. And push down a little bit. And then let's try that again. So lift all your toes up, spread them out nice and wide as they'll go, and then place them down in that nice widened position. And push down into your toes a little bit here. So as you push down into your toes, just notice what you can see. Okay, so with your toes nice and wide, and you've got some pressure there, we're going to lift and lower just the big toes. So we're lifting and lowering just the big toes. How's that going out there? Pretty good. You guys have been doing this for a while. Some of you do it every day, you tell me, which is great. Okay, so place the big toes down, and now lift all your little toes and lower. So we're lifting and lowering just the little toes. Now, if you have some crossover going on, especially with that big toe, sometimes that big toe can cross over the other toes, you can either just do the best you can like this, or you can reach down there and kind of pull the big toes away and push down a little bit so that you anchor them to the floor, and then you can lift and lower all those little toes. Oh, and breathe. Forgot about that. All right, how are we doing? We're doing good, right? The fingers are going, right? The fingers are instructing the toes. Why can't you do this? I can do it. All right, and then relax your feet a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is lift all the toes up and press just the big toes down. And lift and lower. So we're pressing down, lifting and lowering. So big toe strength is super important. I think I mentioned this last week, or maybe the week before, that this is one of the biggest predictors of falls, is having weak toes, especially the big toes. We really want to develop some big toe strength. Best way to do it is toe yoga, you guys. Best way. So lifting and lowering just the big toes, and you'll notice the little toes are probably trying to get in on the action, right? Yeah. And then lift the big toes, and then press all the little toes down, and lift and lower all the little toes. So this is really strengthening for the arches of your feet, which again, super important for balance, for mobility, right? And that affects everything up, right? So it can affect your ankles, your knees, your hips, even your back. All right, how we doing? Terrible. Okay, terrible just means there's more room for improvement, that's all. Okay, so lift up all those toes, spread them out nice and wide, press your big toes down and your baby toes down, but none of your middle toes. Keep them all lifted in the middle. I know, right? Yeah. And then you can lift them all up and relax for a moment, especially if you're starting to feel like a little crampiness in the foot, yeah? So try that again. So lifting them up, spread them out nice and wide. And you can give a little assist here. So one of the ways to assist is to reach down and put your first 3 fingers underneath your 3 middle toes, hold them up as you try and press the other ones down, right? Because part of this is muscular and what's happening in the foot itself, but another part of this is what's happening in your brain and its connection to the foot. So just giving that little assist can sometimes start to establish that neural connection. Neural just means the nerves from your brain to your body. So we're just lifting and lowering the big toes and baby toes, but not the middle toes. And how's that going out there? Good. I'm hearing awesome, wonderful. That's what my translator is saying anyway. I'm thinking maybe not. All right, let's give those toes a little stretch. So take one foot and press the bottom of the toes in so you kind of come up into like a Barbie foot. Yeah. And then we'll do the other side. I'm seeing so many more toe socks in this class. I'm so excited. This is great. Let's go to the other side. I have a thing for feet. Feet are super important. This is how we interact with the world, right? Unless you walk on your hands, this is how we interact with the world. Go to the other side. And like I said, everything that happens from your feet translates up. So if something is going really well, it's going to translate up really well. If something's going really poorly, it's going to translate up. Let's do one more time each side. So good stretch here. We don't get enough of this kind of a stretch in the bottom of the foot. Okay, and then we're going to stretch the tops of the feet. So take your foot, if you've got your little socks there under your chair, you can kind of press the top of your foot into your sock. All right, so we want to stretch. So it's, for those in the back, it's like that. So it's like a ballerina foot, right? So we go from a Barbie foot to a ballerina foot. How come they're all lady things? Let's go to the other side. And you might notice one side is tighter than the other, right? So let's go back to the other side. If you press more to the big toe side of your foot, you're going to feel it right down the shin here, right down this big bone on the shin. If you press more to the little toe side of the foot, you'll feel it here on the outside of your shin a little bit more. So depending on what gives you the most sensation, that's the one I would go with, right? So more sensation means you can get more out of it. Let's go to the other side. So same thing. We're just going to press down, check out the big toe side, how that feels. Little toe side, how that feels. All right, and then relax that. Good. All right, let's take that right leg. We're going to point and flex. So getting some movement forward and backward with the ankle. And then circle it around. If it's too much to have your leg lifted, you can always have your heel on the floor. And you don't have to have it lifted very high, by the way. And reverse direction of your circles. Oh, I heard nice little snapping noises over there. That was you? All right. Good, and then bring that foot to the floor. Same thing on the other side. So point and flex to start. Oh, we got some good stuff over there too. Nice one. Yeah. That's usually, that sounded like a little tendon. That's what that sounded like to me. And circle around. This is one of those before you get out of bed things. I always tell you that, you know, find some things you can do before you even get out of bed. Swing your legs over the side, and if you're not touching the floor, you can certainly do this. And reverse direction. All right, and bring that down. We're going to move right up to the knees now. So check in with your knees. Give them a little good morning rub there, huh? How are the knees feeling this morning? Cranky? Who's got cranky knees? Who's got awesome knees? Everybody's got awesome knees. Yeah. They're just knees. Oh, imagine if you didn't have them. That would be really challenging. All right, so your knees are also kind of a hinge joint like your elbow, but they have a little bit of movement as well. So let's just start with some bending and extending. When you're doing this now, you can have your hands alongside you, just kind of pressing into the chair. That helps if you got any back issues, like if lifting your leg like this gives you a little backache. You can do that. You can also tap if it's too much to just swing your leg. You can tap your heel and tap your toe, and breathe in and breathe out. Got to breathe in and breathe out, more than just the minimum. Okay. Let's bring that foot down to the floor, go the other side, so same thing. So sitting up nice and tall now, right? So we want to have the back nice and tall. Belly muscles, if they're engaged a little bit, that supports your back, right? Hands support your back. Breath supports your back, believe it or not, right? So when you hold your breath, you tend to contract. When you breathe in and out, you got to be sitting upright. Okay. All right, let's go back to the other leg. We're going to take that leg, bend the knee, and bring the heel under like you could kick the bottom of your chair, right? Can you get that heel like really close to the bottom of your chair? Notice what you feel in the back of the upper leg, so your hamstrings here, right? You should be feeling your hamstrings really working. And then we're going to extend that leg and extend it and really squeeze the muscles here in the upper thigh. Bring your toenails toward your shin. Keep breathing. So again, little support here can be super helpful. We're going to take this leg now and we're going to rotate the leg in and out like a big windshield wiper, right? So it's coming all the way up. You might even notice, can you feel it up here in your, where the crease is, where your leg comes into your hip? Now this might be a lot. If it's a lot, bring your heel to the floor. So we're going to do this 4 more times, you guys. Whoa. Yeah. There's 1. There's 2. And 3. And 4. And can you hold that leg up for just another moment? Oh. And how slowly can you lower it down? And can you keep it straight as it comes down? And can you breathe at the same time? So keep that leg extended now, right? Heels on the floor, toenails reaching toward your shin. We're going to take both hands to that left thigh, and we're going to hinge forward. So keep your back nice and flat. It's like you're trying to bring your belly button down onto your left thigh. So come forward, and then we're going to come back up a little bit, right? So nice and slow. So the right leg is extended, heel is on the floor, toenails reaching toward your shin. You're coming forward. So we're stretching the muscles in the back of that leg now, right? Okay, next time you come forward, I'm going to invite you to take your right hand, slide it down the right leg. See if you can reach down below your knee as you keep your back flat. Can you reach down to your ankle? Can you get down to your foot? Can you grab your toes? Can you wave to your toes? So just wave to your toes, right? Hello, toes. Okay, and then we're going to come all the way up. Excellent. Okay, let's bend that knee, bring the foot to the floor. Have both hands on your thighs, close your eyes. And notice if your right leg feels taller than your left leg. Isn't that interesting, right? So take a breath in, let it out with a sigh. You can let your eyes open. We're going to switch over to the left side now. So just a nice, we did the bend and extend here. We're going to take that heel right up to the bottom of the chair, right? Okay, so you're really trying to pull the heel up close to the bottom of the chair, feeling the hamstring muscles here. Those are the muscles in the back of the leg, really working hard, right? Breathing in, breathing out, sitting up nice and tall. This is easy. Keep telling yourself that. This is easy. I can do this. I can do this. And then we're going to extend that leg. So as you extend the leg, you want to firm up the muscles here in the thigh. You want to feel the kneecap kind of pulling up a little bit and toenails reaching toward your shin. So if you're starting to feel your spine do this, give yourself a little bit of support here. Pull your navel in toward your spine. Let's rotate that whole leg in and out like a giant windshield wiper. Giant windshield wiper. In and out it goes. Now notice if this leg feels different. For some people who've maybe had some surgery on a hip or a knee, that's going to have a very different feeling in that side than the other, right? Doesn't mean that it's bad, just that it's different. And for some who've not had any surgery, there can be a big difference from side to side. If this is too much, have your heel on the floor. Right? We can always do it that way. And breathe. So nice, smooth, steady breaths tell your nervous system that everything is fine, so your body can relax around the movement. And when we hold our breath, that tenses everything up, right? It makes us contract, and it tenses everything up. So we've done about 30 on this side, right? Wow. This feels like way more than the other side to me. Next time your foot is straight up, let's hold there, breathe, press out through the heel, and then see how slowly you can lower that leg down. Keep the leg extended, keep it extended, get your heel on the floor and keep it extended. Good. And then make sure your right heel is underneath your right knee. We're going to take both hands to that right leg, nice tall spine, and we're going to hinge forward from the hips like you're trying to bring your belly button down onto that thigh. Feel the stretch in the back of that left leg and then come back up. So we're going forward and back a couple of times just so we can get that feeling of stretch going in and out of it. Good. Couple more. And then let's see if we can come forward and this time take your left hand, slide it down to your left knee. And then if you can, try to get it down to the shin, to the ankle. Try not to round through your spine, so you want your spine to be nice and tall here, right? So it's easier to grab your toe if your spine is rounded, but we really want this to be about stretching in the back of the leg. So you should feel a stretch somewhere in the back of the left leg. Could be the calf, could be a little bit higher than that, could be in the back of the thigh. You might even feel it up into your hip, into your buttocks a little bit too. Breathing in, breathing out, that's the other thing. Gotta remember to do that. And then slowly come all the way up. Excellent. All right, let's bend that knee, bring that foot to the floor. Close your eyes, having both hands on your thighs. Take a moment and just notice. Hopefully your legs are the same height again. Take in a breath, let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes open. All right, we're going to move into a little bit more hip work. So if you want to scoot over to the right side of your chair a little bit, so your right cheek is kind of hanging off some. And holding on to the left side of your chair, this is just to make sure nobody goes out on the floor. We're going to take that right leg using the toes and the heel. We're going to walk the leg out. Don't turn your body though, and then walk the leg back in. So we're going in and out. I got some squeaks going on up here with the floor. So you want to keep your heel underneath your knee. So you're not extending your leg. You're staying in that 90-degree bend in your knee. This is all about the hip. Right? Next time you have your foot walked out to the side, I'm going to invite you to stay there. So we get that foot walked all the way out to the side. So you're facing, your navel is facing your left knee, right? You're sitting up nice and tall. Your right knee is as far out to the side as it can be. So somewhere between like 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, or even more if you've got that kind of mobility there. So we're just going to hold here, and then we're going to engage the muscles in the outside of the right hip and the outside of the right leg, and pull your knee toward the back wall. So you'll feel those muscles activate back there. And then relax that. So keep your spine nice and tall, right? Relax your shoulders, pull the knee toward the back wall, and then release. So keep facing me. Don't turn this way. You want to keep facing me. You're going to pull that leg back and then relax. A few more times. So we're just starting to wake up some of those muscles there. For a lot of us, the glute muscles, they get very sleepy. So they don't do enough work. And then they, when the glutes don't do enough work, they recruit the backs of the legs. And then the backs of the legs get really tight, and that pulls on the low back. So sometimes a low back problem can be greatly improved by working on your glutes. So pulling that knee toward the back wall, I'm going to ask you to hold there. Okay, so this should be kind of hard. Can you feel that? Okay, breathe as you're doing this, because it's easy to hold your breath when you're doing something hard, right? It's harder to breathe. Okay, so keep pulling that knee toward the back wall. Don't let it come forward. You're going to keep pulling it toward the back wall. Take your left hand to your chair, slide it right back to the back of the chair, and then we're going to twist all the way to the left as far as you can. But keep pulling that right knee toward the back wall. This should be kind of a challenge now. Keep breathing. If you've twisted so far that it's difficult to breathe, just come out of that twist a little bit. Let's keep one more breath in and out here. And then slowly unwind your upper body. Relax that leg. Use your heel and your toe. Walk it in as you simultaneously scoot to the center of your chair and cross that leg over the other one. So we've got the right knee on top of the left knee. Now, if you can't do the knee on top of knee, you can go ankle on top of ankle. That's fine too. So from here, I'm going to ask you to squeeze your inner thigh. So we were engaging muscles. We were just engaging muscles here in the outer part of the hip and the outer part of the thigh. And now we're going to engage muscles here in the inner part of the hip and the inner part of the thigh. Squeeze your thighs together. So squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze your glutes and you'll feel yourself lift up a little bit, right? Everybody gets about 1/4 to 1/2 inch taller when you engage your glutes. And then relax everything, right? So we're going to do that a few times. So squeeze and lift and relax And squeeze. So we're really squeezing those inner thighs together. Good. And one more time. Excellent. And relax that. Okay, so you've got your knees crossed. We're going to take the left leg and scoot it out to the left a little bit. Okay, so see if you can get the outside of your right foot to touch the outside of your left leg. Now I know with everything crossed it can be a little confusing. So the outside of your top foot is touching the outside of your bottom leg. Got that? Okay, so if you can do that, and that's easy, see if you can get the foot to wrap around that lower leg. And some of you can do it. So the more that left leg is out to the left, the easier that's going to be to get that to happen. You might get like a little half tuck there. I see a lot of little half tucks there, which is awesome. Okay, so this is stretching through that stuff that we just did a lot of engaging with. That's all we're doing here. So if you're contorted, see if you can bring yourself upright. If you're holding your breath, see if you can relax into your breath. All right. And then let's see if we can unwrap that foot or get it away from there as we walk that left foot back directly underneath your left knee. Okay, that should feel like a little bit of a release from there, right? All right, now we're going to take that right ankle and cross it on top of the left knee. So once again, if ankle on knee doesn't work for you, ankle on ankle is fine. What we're trying to do here is stretch this inner part that we just worked, right? So we can come, take one hand to the knee, the inside of the knee, and the other hand to the ankle. It would be preferable if you took your right hand to your right knee, right? Unless you wanted to do that, but I don't think we want to do that. Okay, so we're going to keep the spine nice and tall and hinge forward like you're trying to bring your navel down onto your shin, right? So you should feel a nice stretch through the hip. And you're probably saying nice is a relative term, right? So a noticeable, how's that? Feel a noticeable stretch through that right side. Is everybody getting a noticeable stretch? Anybody not getting a noticeable stretch? You're not getting a noticeable stretch. So if you've got your ankle on your ankle, you might not get a noticeable stretch. So you really need the ankle on knee to really feel this. So the next time you come forward, I'm going to ask you to just kind of hold here. And as you're holding in this forward position, see if you can lengthen your spine like you could take off at a diagonal, right? Like you could take off at a diagonal. So you're lengthening through the spine, shoulder tops are relaxed, jaw is relaxed, breath is moving in and out. Keep breathing in and out. So you might be feeling it in your hip. You might be feeling it in the thigh. Some people could be feeling it in the knee, the lower leg, even into the ankle. Some people are saying, yes, all of the above, right? Yeah. So lucky you. All right. Getting a lot out of it. You're getting more value for your money that way, right? Okay, so press down into that left foot. Come all the way up. And now we're going to take this leg and we're going to reach behind the thigh and then see if you can lift the ankle off the knee, sit up nice and tall, get nice and tall, and you're going to bring your knee as close to your chin as it will go, but don't bring your chin to your knee. In other words, you don't want to do that. You want to keep lifting your knee and your chin is saying, nope, not going to do it. So you're lifting your knee, lifting your knee, lifting your knee. Ooh, that's hard to say. Okay, and then we're going to slowly release that leg down. Excellent. Holding onto your chair, extend both legs, point your toes, reach forward as far as you can, crawl your foot out, and look down and notice if your right leg is longer than your left leg. It should be. It hurts. It hurts. Okay. All right. So let's bend the knees. And we're going to scoot over to the left side because we definitely want to be equal and balanced before we get in the car and drive out of the driveway. So let's take, so once again, you're facing forward, right? So your navel is staying forward. Keep it kind of lined up with your right knee. We're going to take the left leg, heel and toe, walk it out. So we're warming up that joint, coming back. So we're just Just kind of going in and out. I think I have a super clean foot this morning, or the floor got cleaned up here, because it's very squeaky. I think it's the floor, quite frankly. All right, couple more times. So we're working the ankle as well as the hip when we're doing this. And the next time you've got your leg out here, we're going to hold it here. So once again, excuse me, make sure your heel is under your knee. In other words, you don't want your leg extended like that, and you don't want it back here. You want to have your heel under your knee. So your navel is oriented toward your right knee. You have both sitting bones on the chair, right? So we don't want to have one sitting bone. We don't want to be kind of crooked here on the chair. We got both sitting bones on the chair. And now you're going to engage the muscles here in the outside of this left hip and thigh and pull that knee toward the back wall. And then relax it. And again, pull and relax. And breathe as you're doing this, right? So as you inhale, you might think about pulling the knee toward the back wall, and as you exhale, let go. Or you might decide to do it the other way. Maybe you breathe in as you release the knee, and maybe you breathe out as you pull the knee toward the back wall. People have all kinds of opinions about when it's appropriate. People, I mean like trainers and people who teach other people, have all kinds of opinions about when you should breathe in and when you should breathe out. And quite frankly, it doesn't really matter as long as it feels natural in your body. Right? It is easier when you're doing something like exerting yourself. If you're lifting a heavy weight or something, it is easier to do that on an exhale because it's sort of giving you that support, but it's not necessary. So the next time that you have your knee pulling toward the back wall, you're going to hold here. So I want you to really feel those muscles engage, right? Again, if you've had some surgery, maybe you have a hip replacement, you might feel things a little differently in this side than you did in the other side. Maybe a knee as well, right? So if you haven't had a knee replacement or you had some knee surgery, that can make a difference here as well. So you're still pulling that knee toward the back wall. You're going to take your right hand now, slide it on the side, the bottom of your chair, right to the, whatever that upright thing is, right? We're going to hold it there, and then see if you can twist your body to the right as you continue to pull your left knee toward the back wall. Don't let it come forward. So if your left knee comes forward, come out of the twist, reset, get that left knee really pulling toward the back wall, and then come back into this. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice full breaths in and out. And then with your next exhale, you're going to unwind your upper body. You're going to take that left foot, heel and toe, walk it back, and scoot to the center of your chair. Okay. When you get to the center of your chair, you're going to cross this knee on top of the right. So now we've got knee on top of knee. Okay. And then sit up nice and tall. Let's take that right foot. That's the bottom foot. You're going to walk the bottom foot out to the right a little bit. And then squeeze your inner thighs together and see if you can get the outside edge of your top foot to meet the outside of your bottom leg, right? So we're kind of getting there. Now, if that's relatively easy, you can try the wrap on this side. So see if you can get that foot. Scoot that right foot out a little bit more if you need to. If this is super easy as well, and I see for some of you it looks like it's fairly easy, walk that right foot back to the middle again. That's a lot harder, right? So you'll find that sweet spot where the foot can't go anymore, right? So now you should feel a stretch here on the outside of your left leg. It can be from the hip, it can be into the upper part of the outer thigh. You might feel it down into the knee, the lower leg, the ankle. So if you're feeling all of those, good for you. You're getting a lot more out of this, right? So we get tight on the outside of the legs quite often from sitting. Right? So if we sit a lot, anytime we put ourselves in this sitting position, we're creating some tension through the hips, and we're also creating some slack in some of the muscles that need a little more tension, and some tension in some of the muscles that need a little more slack. So it's not optimal for us. So a couple more breaths here as you hold. Excellent. Notice if this side is easier than the other side, or if the other side was easier than this side. And then let's see if we can unwrap. If you're wrapped, unwrap your foot. If you're foot is over to the right, you're going to walk it back and then slowly slide your ankle on top of your knee. Okay, so once again, if ankle on knee doesn't work, ankle on ankle is fine. You won't get quite the stretch that we're going to get having the legs crossed in this fashion. Make sure your right foot is directly underneath your knee. Have your left toenails reaching toward your shin. All right, so this is, I know it can be a little wacky when the leg is kind of in this position, but think about your toenails reaching toward your shin. Take your left hand to your knee, your right hand to your ankle. Sit up nice and tall, breathing in as we lengthen, and then breathing out if you'd like when you come forward. So we're just going to come forward and back a few times with a nice straight back. And it's like you're trying to get your belly button down onto your shin. So you're trying to come forward and get that belly button down onto the shin. So we're just kind of doing a little rocking horse, forward and back, right? Okay. And then the next time that you come forward, you're going to hold there. And so the place, I always tell people, find the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is that place where it feels a little bit challenging, but it's not so much that you can't breathe, right? So for some people, depending on many factors, a challenge might be just that first little inkling that you're feeling something, because maybe you don't feel quite so much, right? So maybe that's the first inkling. For other people, it might be, yeah, I feel something, but I can go more, right? So that really is dependent on you and how you navigate in your own body, right? So as you come forward, are you feeling it in your hip or your thigh, your knee, your ankle, your lower leg? Is it the same on this side that it was on the other side? Kind of do that investigation for yourself. Quite often it's very different from one side to the other. And again, having aftermarket parts in the hip can make a big difference here in how you feel it, how you navigate it. Okay, looks great, everybody. So with your next inhale, we're going to slowly come up. Excellent. And now we're going to reach around behind that thigh, and we're going to grab the thigh. We're going to bring the knee up to the chin. Sit up really tall. Bring your chin as far away from your knee as you can, right? So you're getting longer. Well, I don't want you to do that. Keep your head nice and level. But my point is you're trying to bring your knee to your chin, but your chin does not want to get to your knee. All right? So we're lifting, and breathing. And then slowly lower that down. Excellent. All right, let's extend both legs as you hold on to your chair. Point your toes, right? And look down. Okay, is everybody even? They're the same? Is anybody not the same? Good. Okay. So if you were not the same, you would have to start over before they would give you your keys. All right. So come to a more comfortable seat in your chair. And let's just do one more little movement here for the neck. So we're just going to bring the chin down to, first find the little notch in your collarbones, right? Everybody got the little notch there? So you're going to try and bring your chin into the notch. So it's not just down, but it's down and back, right? It's like down and back. And one thing you can do is see if you can open your mouth. Like you could open your mouth and get your chin to touch in there, right? Wouldn't that be something? And just kind of open and close your mouth a little bit. Try and get it down there. When you open your mouth and try and get your chin, excuse me, into that little notch, notice what you feel in the back of your neck. And notice what you feel in the sides of your neck, right? So if you open and close a few times, just notice. So what you're doing with your chin, with your jaw rather, is having an effect on your entire neck. It might be even up into the base of your skull. You might feel it into the base of your skull. Good. And then let's bring the head back up. Now as you bring your head back up, I'm just going to ask you to pause for a moment and notice if you feel any difference. It might be just a subtle difference in the back of the neck, around the back of the skull. And then let's take the right ear and drop it over to the right shoulder. So the right ear to the right shoulder. And let's do this. So we're going to keep the ear going toward the shoulder. And now see if you can lift your right shoulder and bring it up to your ear. Again, I'm with the telephone. That's the theme today, you guys, the old telephone, right? So you got the old telephone there. And now keep your ear where it is. It's kind of trying to form a relationship with your shoulder, but now your shoulder is a little indifferent. So you're going to pull your shoulder down and away. And as you pull your shoulder down and away, see if you can get the ear closer to the shoulder and breathe. Okay, so the ear is reaching toward the shoulder, and now the shoulder is going to come up and kiss the ear. And then the shoulder comes down, and the ear keeps reaching for that shoulder. Reach, reach, reach. Keep breathing. Let's bring that shoulder up one more time. We're just going to give a little kiss to the ear. And slowly lower the shoulder. Keep the ear reaching to the shoulder. And then really slowly bring your head back up to center. Let both hands rest on your thighs. Close your eyes. Notice if you feel a difference in the right side and left side a little bit. Okay, let's open the eyes. Take your left ear toward your left shoulder. Now this may be different than the other side, right? So sometimes we have more mobility in one direction than the other. Actually, not just sometimes, but most times. Okay, so what we're going to do here is keep the ear going toward the shoulder. We're going to bring the shoulder up to give the ear a little kiss. Keep the ear reaching toward the shoulder and pull that shoulder down toward the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to bring that shoulder up, give that ear a little bit of a kiss. And slowly bring the shoulder down away from the ear. Keep the ear is going, oh, please don't go away. Come back. And then one more time, let's bring the shoulder up, give that ear a little bit of a kiss. And slowly bring that shoulder down. Keep the ear reaching toward the shoulder. And then slowly raise your head back up. Close your eyes. Notice right side and left side, and hopefully it's a little more balanced, feels a little more even and balanced. So with your eyes still closed, notice your feet on the floor. And notice your hands, where they're resting on your body. Maybe you've got them on your thighs, maybe your palms are down, maybe they're up, maybe your hands are resting, kind of nested one inside the other. Notice any tension in your legs or arms and see if you can let go of that tension. Notice your spine. Do you have like a little sway back? So is your belly kind of coming forward and you have a little arch in your low back? Can you pull your belly in slightly and let that low back flatten out a little bit? And where are your shoulders? Are they up around your ears, or can you let your shoulders relax down away from your ears? And notice your arms. Are they tense, or can they be relaxed? Your hands, tense or relaxed? And then come back to your breath, noticing the way air moves in and out of your body. In and out through the nose. If it's too difficult to breathe in and out through your nose, you can breathe in through your nose and out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. And deepen your breathing. As you inhale, feel your chest rising and falling. Feel your belly expanding and contracting. Feel the sides of your waist widening and then narrowing. And this can be a very subtle movement in the body. So it takes a little bit of like kind of listening with your inner sense to get that feeling. And just notice how the breath moves in and out. You can lengthen your breath, you can shorten your breath, you can stop your breath momentarily. This is the only function, automatic function in your body that you can kind of do this with. You can't do this with your heart, you can't do it with your digestion, but you can do it with your breath. And take your right hand up to your chest, the middle of your chest, and then cover your right hand with your left. And let's just notice still the breathing, but now notice it under your hands. As you inhale and exhale, can you feel that expansion and contraction underneath your hands? And it might take a little more effort, especially if you tend to breathe shallowly. And then if you'd like, bring your hands together and take a moment to appreciate your breath. This function that happens about 18,000 times a day without you even being aware of it. And then if you'd like, you can open your eyes and just notice and acknowledge all these wonderful breathing creatures in the room. All right. Enjoy this gorgeous sunny day for however long it lasts. I'll see you all next week.